Hey everyone, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth video. And we've got a really cool feature that actually isn't technically a Battle for Azeroth feature, because it's going to be coming to the game in the very near future. Something I'm very excited to report on, and that is the fact that Blizzard are finally taking a look at World of Warcraft's leveling process. Leveling really has been in a bad state over the last while. Not only did you often outlevel zones, meaning that the game was encouraging you to leave, but technically you should really stay there for the story, and that was creating a pretty bad RPG. Not only was that an issue, but mechanics flat out just didn't really work that well. You'd one-shot everything. Essentially, it wasn't a fun experience, and most importantly, it was a really bad experience for new players to the game. So, seeing that Blizzard actually wants to take a proper effort to fix this up, to me, is extremely exciting. So, let's get into this new feature. But as is often the case, to talk about a new feature, we have to go a little bit back in the past for the beta test of that feature. Zone scaling. Of course, Legion had it. We were able to go through the areas of Legion pretty much any way that we wanted to, and they would scale to our character's level. This was pretty cool in many regards, and, well, they're essentially going to be using that same technology to augment the old world, but not necessarily in the exact same way as they did with Legion. It would not make much sense if you had level 120 wolves in Elwyn Forest who could stand up to your absolute badass of a character. Now, Blizzard also think it's extremely important that if you start off as a level 1 character, well, you shouldn't be able to go to the Searing Gorge and kill enemies because they'll scale. And indeed, it should be really important that places feel really threatening. You probably all remember starting off a human character way back in the day, getting yourself into Duskwood at level 5 and being eaten by wolves. That's a core part of making the world feel threatening. So here's how they're going to be dealing with the level scaling. Essentially, it's kind of like adaptive scaling. So essentially, zones still do have leveling brackets, but the leveling brackets are massive. As an example, a zone might have leveling brackets between level 40 and 60. So if you're a level 30 character, this far off zone is still scary. And if you're a level 80 character and you come back to it, well, it's still going to be pretty easy. So it preserves the sense of progression while ensuring the quality of gameplay when you're actually in that zone for the first time and you'll actually experience it as it was really intended. So as much as that's cool, there's even more to talk about. The older expansion packs are going to have their level ranges from 60 to 80. This is actually something I pitched years ago, but I'm super happy it's making it into the game. The core here is really that you can just adventure through the world and experience the game pretty much as it was intended. You can properly get all those zone stories, and you'll always be getting the appropriate loot. You will not be out-leveling the bracket of the zone that you're in, and all of this is also going to be applying to the dungeons and the rewards for those dungeons. Now, what does this mean? Well, first of all, if you are leveling through dungeons, the brackets will be a lot larger, so your queues will be far shorter. And then when you are actually leveling through the world, you get a proper story. This is especially good for places like the Silver Pine Forest, which are really heavily developed and actually have a brilliant narrative. Now, the best thing, actually, this is coming out before the expansion launches. Actually, this is coming out really soon indeed. Patch 7.3.5 is going to be coming out in, well, we're not exactly sure how much time. It seems like a month or two. And this new feature is going to be on the PTR soon. What does this mean? Well, Antorus will come out, and presumably at a similar time, or maybe slightly after, this system will unlock. What this means is that if you want to level up new characters in preparation for this new expansion, you're actually going to be able to properly enjoy the game content. It's not going to feel rubbish like it does currently. I suppose my only concern is just that they still do need to look at the gameplay and how that actually feels, because sure, even if the scaling is working, you know, if I'm, say, fighting a level 25 mob and my level 22 orc that has no heirlooms, I'm still going in and absolutely pulverizing it, to the point where it doesn't really feel like good gameplay and it's not particularly engaging. So I'd be very interested to see Blizzard make some efforts to increase or to improve the combat experience when you're actually leveling. Now, I don't think it should be taking you 20 seconds to kill a mob and you have to drink afterwards to get your resources back, but I do think the time to kill should be a good bit higher than what it currently is. But that is pretty much it. Leveling is being revamped for this next expansion, and it's coming to your current game actually pretty damn soon. Feature I'm very excited about, and that's essentially it for this video, so thank you very much for tuning in to my Blzzcon coverage, and of course more will be rolling out as we find out more about this expansion. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.